Good evening. Here are tonight's top stories. 4 people have been arrested, and 3 firearms seized in connection with an alleged shooting incident. Firearms and narcotics were discovered during a police operation in the Burbus River. A fisherman has been remanded on a narcotics possession charge. The prosecution's main witness has implicated Rickford Burke in a criminal extortion conspiracy. An autopsy has revealed that lawyer Richard Lane died from a stab wound to the neck. Former GECOM Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers has been awarded $2 million Guyanese for wrongful arrest. The passing of Dr. Kali Oudkirk, co-founder of Hero and an esteemed medical professional, has been reported. Police Sergeant Tony Sulker is now a suspect in attorney Richard Lane's death. The Attorney General has appealed the $2 million Guyanese judgment for the wrongful arrest of Roxanne Myers. A gold miner was fatally stabbed at Kamarong Landing, Region 7, and a 22-year-old man has been remanded for an alleged attack on his neighbor, Carol Austin. Stay tuned for the details of these stories. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more news.
4 arrested and 3 firearms seized in connection with alleged shooting incident. The Guyana police force has arrested 4 individuals and seized 3 Glock pistols in connection with an alleged shooting incident that took place at approximately 2300 hours on August 6, 2024, at the intersection of Garnett and Middleton Streets, Georgetown. The incident involved Samora Hadaway, a 41-year-old driver from Timeri, who was waiting to transport a container when he was approached by a group of 5 men. 2 of the men, who appeared to be under the influence of alcohol, were armed with handguns and began striking the lorry, JG 1844. The assailants then pointed their firearms at Hadaway, prompting him to seek cover inside the vehicle. Shortly after, multiple gunshots were fired. The suspects fled the scene in a white motorcar, PAF 9078. In an attempt to escape, the suspect's vehicle encountered difficulty on the road, causing 2 of its right side tires to burst. The car eventually came to a stop on Vlissingen Road near the Survival Wholesale Store, where police swiftly surrounded the vehicle. A search of the car led to the arrest of the 4 occupants and the recovery of 3 Glock pistols, loaded with a total of 44 rounds of ammunition. The individuals arrested have been identified as Stephen Ramdas, 39, of Great Diamond, East Bank Demerara, EBD, Patrick Forbes, 30, of Wales Housing Scheme, West Bank Demerara, WBD, Raji Chanderpal, 41, of Better Hope, East Coast Demerara, ECD, and Mahesh Buddho of Cummings Lodge, ECD. None of the men possessed a firearm license. All 4 suspects, along with the firearms and ammunition, were taken into custody at the Albert Town Police Station. The firearms have been lodged, and investigations into the incident are ongoing. The Guyana police force remains committed to ensuring public safety and will continue to take decisive action against criminal activity. Further updates will be provided as the investigation progresses. 22-year-old man remanded for alleged attack on neighbor Carol Austin. Kareem Smith, a 22-year-old resident of West Ruimveldt, Georgetown, has been remanded to prison after appearing before the Georgetown Magistrates Court on Thursday to face multiple charges related to an alleged attack on his neighbor, Carol Austin, in June 2023. The charges against Smith include damaging Austin's property, specifically her windows valued at $10,000 and a television set valued at $40,000. He is also accused of throwing missiles and unlawfully and maliciously wounding Austin on the same day. Smith was initially charged in 2023 and was scheduled to return to court for a hearing, but he failed to appear, prompting a year-long search by the police. He was apprehended on Wednesday, August 7, 2024, and placed in police custody. During his court appearance before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor, Smith pleaded not guilty to all charges. When questioned about his absence over the past year, Smith claimed he was unaware of the court proceedings, stating, "I was in the interior working because I got to provide for my 2 children. I came out of the interior the other day." Prosecutor Quincy Lakin objected to bail, citing the seriousness of the offenses and the fact that Smith had been evading arrest for a year. Lakin also reported that Smith resisted arrest, caused damage to a cell at the West Ruimveldt police station, and attempted to escape custody both on Wednesday evening and Thursday morning. In response to the prosecution's objection, Smith denied any ongoing conflict with Austin, stating, "Me and this big lady ain't get no problem, even though this lady is my neighbor, I does pass she straight." Bail was denied, and Smith has been remanded to prison. He is scheduled to return to court on August 15, 2024, for the presentation of statements. Autopsy reveals lawyer Richard Lane died from stab wound to neck. An autopsy has confirmed that 35-year-old lawyer Richard Lane, who was tragically murdered outside his Durban Backlands home on Wednesday night, died from a stab wound to the neck. The examination was conducted by government pathologist Dr. Nihal Singh, who determined that the wound was inflicted with a sharp instrument measuring at least 17 centimeters in length. Lane's lifeless body was discovered in his car, which was parked outside his Century Palm Gardens residence in Georgetown. The grim discovery was made hours after Lane had returned home from purchasing coffee at Movietown, Georgetown, accompanied by his cousin, Michael Harding. According to reports, Harding left shortly after and went to his home in Eccles, East Bank Demerara. Later that night, Lane's friend, Police Sergeant Tony Sulker, noticed Lane's car parked on the bridge of the premises while using the kitchen. Looking through a window, Sulker saw Lane in the driver's seat in a slumped position and unresponsive. Authorities have questioned Sulker and Harding in connection with the crime. Both men were detained but were released on Thursday night. As of now, no arrests have been made, and the investigation is ongoing. Police headquarters are continuing to investigate the circumstances surrounding Lane's death and are urging anyone with information to come forward. Former GECOM Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers awarded $2 million Guyanese for wrongful arrest. Former Deputy Chief Elections Officer of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, Roxanne Myers, has been awarded $2 million Guyanese in compensatory damages after the High Court ruled that she was wrongfully arrested during an investigation into alleged electoral fraud. The ruling was handed down by Justice Ramlal, who determined that Ms. Myers' arrest and subsequent detention were unlawful. However, the court did not find that her treatment during detention amounted to inhumane treatment. The judgment did not include any exemplary damages. In addition to the compensatory award, the court has ordered the Guyana Police Force, which was represented by the Attorney General's chambers, to pay 200,000 Guyanese dollars in legal costs. This payment must be made on or before September 9, 2024. Ms. Myers was represented by attorney-at-law Nigel Hughes, who argued that the police had no reasonable grounds to suspect her involvement in the alleged electoral fraud. The case against Ms. Myers is part of a broader investigation that has seen several current and former GECOM officials, as well as supporters of the People's National Congress Reform, PNCR, facing charges related to electoral misconduct. The trial, which began on July 29, 2024, has been postponed for 30 days due to the magistrate's illness. Attorney General appeals $2 million judgment for wrongful arrest of Roxanne Myers. Attorney General Anil Nandlal has filed an appeal to the full court, challenging the recent judgment that awards $2 million in damages to former Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers. The judgment found that Myers was wrongfully arrested by the Guyana Police Force in 2020 during an investigation into alleged electoral fraud. In his appeal, Attorney General Nandlal argues that Justice Simone Morris Ramlal erred in her ruling by concluding that there was no reasonable basis for Myers' arrest and detention. He contends that the evidence presented during the trial did, in fact, justify the arrest, particularly concerning the charge of perverting the course of justice. Nandlal further asserts that critical evidence regarding the reasons for Myers' arrest was disregarded in the judgment. Additionally, he challenges the judge's determination that the arrest and detention violated Myers' rights to personal liberty, and her conclusion that Myers' refusal to cooperate with the police could not be interpreted as perverting the course of justice. The Attorney General is seeking orders to overturn the ruling and has requested that the respondent, Roxanne Myers, be required to pay court costs. The appeal was filed just hours after the court ordered the Guyana Police Force to pay Myers $2 million in damages for wrongful arrest. The court has mandated that the payment be made on or before September 9, 2024. Roxanne Myers is currently one of 9 individuals facing trial for alleged electoral fraud during the 2020 general and regional elections. The trial is temporarily halted due to the presiding magistrate, Laron Daly, being on medical leave. Police Sergeant Tony Sulker now a suspect in attorney Richard Lane's death. In a significant development, Police Sergeant Tony Sulker, a close associate of the late attorney-at-law Richard Lane, has been identified as a suspect in Lane's death. Both Sulker and Lane were residents of the Century Palm residence in Durban Backlands. A reliable police source confirmed that Sulker, 29, is currently on suicide watch. While Sulker has not confessed to the crime, CCTV footage reveals that he was the last individual seen with Lane before his death. In a statement released by the police on Thursday, It was disclosed that Sulker was the one who discovered Lane's body in a car parked in front of their residence. Unable to open the car door, Sulker reportedly contacted Lane's mother at her Campbellville home. Upon her arrival, she instructed Sulker to break the car window, which he did using a hammer. Following this, both the police and an ambulance were summoned to the scene. The investigation is ongoing, and further details will be provided as they become available. Passing of Dr. Collie Audkirk, co-founder of Hero and esteemed medical professional. We are deeply saddened to announce the sudden passing of Dr. Collie Audkirk, MD, treasurer of the Health and Educational Relief Organization Incorporated, Hero, past president and co-founder of the organization alongside Dr. Wayne Sampson. Dr. Audkirk tragically succumbed to a massive cardiac arrest while on duty at Brookdale University Medical Center, where he served as an attending physician in the Department of Emergency Medicine. Dr. Audkirk's passing occurred shortly after his return from Hero's annual volunteer medical mission to Guyana. He led the medical team on this humanitarian trip to his birthplace, continuing his lifelong dedication to providing medical care to those in need. His commitment to education was evident in his role at Brookdale, where he was responsible for the education and training of medical students, residents, physician assistants, and nurse practitioners. Dr. Audkirk's sudden departure is a profound loss to his colleagues, students, and the countless lives he touched through his work. Plans were already in discussion for another Hero mission to Grenada, a testament to his unwavering dedication to humanitarian efforts. The Hero community, along with all who knew Dr. Audkirk, mourns the loss of a brilliant physician, educator, and humanitarian. His legacy of service will continue to inspire and guide the work of Hero and the broader medical community. Prosecution's main witness implicates Rickford Burke in criminal extortion conspiracy. GPF in a significant development in the ongoing extortion trial at the Vigilance Magistrates Court, the prosecution's main witness has delivered testimony that directly implicates Rickford Burke in a criminal conspiracy to extort money from businessman Afraz Mohammed. The trial involves defendants Dorwin Bess and Marlon Gary Eliezer, who were charged in 2022 with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit a felony, contrary to Section 33 of the Criminal Law, Offenses, Act, Chapter 801. In August 2023, Rickford Burke was separately charged with the same offenses, following allegations that he conspired with Bess and Eliezer to extort money from Mr. Mohammed. During the trial, the prosecution's key witness, Alex Wayne, who had charges against him dropped after he agreed to testify, revealed critical details of the alleged conspiracy. Wayne testified that he knew Bess and Eliezer personally, having worked with both men. He also stated that he was introduced to Rickford Burke by Bess via a WhatsApp call and identified Burke as the owner of the GNN website. Wayne further testified that in August 2022, Bess instructed him to contact Afraz Mohammed, posing as a reporter from the GNN website. Under Bess's direction, Wayne presented Mr. Mohammed with a fabricated article accusing him of defrauding the government by evading taxes on vehicle imports. Wayne told the court that he was instructed to demand a response from Mohammed, while Bess subsequently sent Wayne the fabricated article. The witness recounted how he was involved in an elaborate scheme where he and Eliezer met with Mohammed, during which Eliezer admitted to writing the defamatory article. The group then attempted to extort money from Mohammed in exchange for removing the article from the GNN website and preventing a second article from being published. Wayne admitted to accepting $40,000 as a down payment for the article's removal and further described a meeting where Mohammed agreed to pay Eliezer $150,000, of which $50,000 was paid up front. Under cross-examination, Wayne remained steadfast in his testimony, outlining the roles played by Bess, Eliezer, and Burke in the extortion plot. The trial, presided over by Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor, continues on September 13th with the continuation of the cross-examination. The case is being prosecuted by the police legal advisor, attorney at law Mandel Moore, while the defense is represented by attorneys Dexter Todd and Don Cush for Bess, and Dexter Todd for Eliezer. Fisherman remanded on narcotics possession charge. Matthew Behari, a 33-year-old fisherman from New Amsterdam, Berbice, has been charged with possession of narcotics for trafficking. Behari was apprehended on Tuesday, August 6, 2024, at the Supinam waterfront on the Essequibo coast, with 134.5 grams of cannabis in his possession. The case was brought before the Suddy Magistrates Court on Thursday, August 8, 2024. During the hearing, the charge was formally read by Her Worship Ms. Tamika Clark. Mr. Behari pleaded not guilty to the charge. The prosecutor opposed bail, and as a result, Mr. Behari has been remanded to prison pending further proceedings. Firearms and narcotics discovered during police operation in Burbus River. In a recent intelligence-led operation conducted by the Guyana Police Force, authorities uncovered two 12-gauge shotguns without serial numbers and a quantity of marijuana in the Ebony area of the upper Burbus River. The operation took place on Thursday between 11 o'clock and 1800 hours HRS. During the operation, police ranks observed two unidentified men in two boats acting suspiciously. Upon noticing the presence of law enforcement, the men swiftly abandoned their boats and fled into dense vegetation behind a wooden two-story structure on the eastern bank of the Burbus River. A thorough search of the house and surrounding area led to the discovery of leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis sativa, along with the unregistered 12-gauge shotguns. Additionally, police recovered a 40 HP Yamaha outboard engine, a 2 HP Yamaha outboard engine, and a Samsung cell phone. All items, including the suspected narcotics and firearms, were taken to the Mackenzie police station. There, they were marked, sealed, and secured in evidence bags. No arrests have been made at this time, and further investigations are currently underway. Gold miner fatally stabbed at Comerong Landing, Region 7. The Guyana Police Force is actively investigating the tragic murder of 27-year-old gold miner Laurex Henry, who was fatally stabbed earlier this morning at the Comerong Landing, Upper Mazaruni, Region 7. The incident occurred at approximately 1:15 HRS. According to preliminary investigations, Henry, a resident of Mbaimadai, had left a bar at the Comerong Landing in the company of his friend, 31-year-old gold miner Delon Dead Jr. Shortly after, Henry encountered the suspect, a 40-year-old gold miner from Anai, Region 9. It is alleged that Henry made racial remarks that offended the suspect, who was armed with a knife at the time. The suspect then delivered a single fatal stab to Henry's abdomen. Henry collapsed immediately after being stabbed and was quickly transported to the Comerong District Hospital. Despite efforts to treat him, Henry succumbed to his injuries while under the care of a doctor. Upon examination, a single stab wound was found on the lower left side of Henry's abdomen, with his intestines protruding from the wound. The suspect was apprehended by the police and, upon being informed of the allegation, admitted to the crime, reportedly stating, "I did it because he come around me funny." The suspect is currently in police custody as the investigation continues.